Today I'm going over another trade that I did, but more specifically I wanted to mention a phenomenon that occasionally happens when I'm trading. So this trade was for this Spyderco. It's a paramilitary 2. This one, of course, in the Digi Camo handle, which is very cool. This person had put an aftermarket deep conceal clip on there, which is nice. I actually kind of like this stubby little lanyard as well. But anyway, I've had this exact knife for probably, well, I've had it at least 4 or 5 times. The exact knife, had them, traded off, got it back, traded off, got it back. It's a great knife. It's awesome. It's just I have to use the stuff that I have for collateral for more trades. But the reason I wanted to make this video, not only they sent some extra stuff here and a note, so I wanted to show my appreciation and read it on camera here and check out these knives. But also to mention what happened with this, and once in a blue moon this happens where I had traded a different knife, and before I got that knife in the mail, I already agreed upon a new trade. So this knife literally just arrived and it's going back out. All right, I have a couple minutes to play with it and it's going right into a new box to the next person. Occasionally this happens where, I'm working out trades, and you guys know I'm constantly trading, so I always have stuff that's like in the mail or about to be shipped to me. And once in a blue moon, someone asks what's available, and I'll say, hey, I got this, this, this. They say, hey, I'm looking for this. In this case, they were looking specifically for a paramilitary 2. And I said, well, I had one coming to me, and they said, all right, cool, let's work it out. The second I opened this, before I made this video, sent some pics, they agreed upon it, and it's done. So I literally am going to own this knife for less than an hour. But anyway, so here's the notes. I'm just kind of curious for other people out here who do trading, have you ever done something like that? A couple times a year, that's how it works out, where I don't even have anything in my possession yet. I'm already working out deals. So, hi Jeff, hope you, Christina, and Gus are doing well. First off, thanks for doing all your videos. I've been a fan for years and you have provided many hours of entertainment. I have really been enjoying the battle box videos and the follow-up reviews of the gear you get. Here's a paramilitary 2 in Digi Camo for the trade. I've also included some extras that I don't really carry much anymore, and I thought you might like them. There is a BYRD Spyderco, well, we know BYRD, BYRD is a sub-brand of Spyderco, Slipjoint, and a Tangram Amarillo, both of which might be of interest to Christina as they are small and very pocketable. I've also included a Real Steel E571 and a Gerber Bear Grylls fixed blade that I've only used a couple of times, but I think you might get a lot more use out of it. In closing, thanks for all you do. I look forward to every video. From Philip in Florida. Thank you, Philip. I really appreciate that. The extras are always such a nice surprise too. In this particular case, I have not used, well, I've used this fixed blade. I actually had one before, this particular Bear Grylls one, but I have not used any of these folders. Okay, so all 3 of these folders are new to me. So I want to get kind of a first impressions here. This is a BYRD Slipjoint model. It's really cool. Obviously slip joint, there's no lock, so we just have that back spring that kind of keeps it in place here. I like this a lot. My first impressions on this is really, really good. If you happen to like these types of slip joints, I actually had this conversation recently with someone. The modern slip joint thing, it's pretty cool. You have basically modern folders, but they just don't have locks on them. People might be interested in these because of restrictions where they live, mostly outside the US. There's a lot of places where they can't have locking blades. For whatever reason you like this kind of stuff, this is a really nice one. I know BYRD is a very affordable line overall. This is super comfortable. All right, there's a nice choil here that's built into the handle and the blade, like a lot of different Spydercos and some BYRD models. It just feels nice. You can really choke up on it here, specifically because it's a slip joint. Even if it's moving around, it's not going to close on you. You have a very secure grip on that blade. All right, almost like the handle's not even there. You're just holding on to the blade. But overall, it's finished really, really well. I've always been a huge fan of the wire clips. I absolutely love them. This is one that I might actually just keep around. Most times, like I said, when I get different knives, they're always available, for trade, even the ones I really love. But sometimes, once in a blue moon, I really do like, certain knives, and I kind of put them away. I stash them away and pretend they're not there so they're not available. This might be one of those knives. I just really, really like this. It's very cool. So anyway, that's the BYRD slip joint. Then we have a Real Steel model here. I've never had this one before. My first impressions is it's a little uncomfortable in this section here. You can see they have some cutouts for the frame lock. All right. just in gripping this, I haven't used this. I haven't cut a single thing with this, but it's already uncomfortable just in this area. I think it looks really cool. I love the blade on this a lot. And what I really, really like, all right, is this basically secondary lock. So we have a lock bar stabilizer, right? The Rick Hinderer stabilizer, so that this doesn't, you know, move too far over. It actually blocks it, but it's also a switch lock. So basically, you see there's the circle cutout here. So when it's in the downward position, it allows this lock bar to go over, but not too far, so you don't hyperextend it. But you can slide that forward, and it goes on the corner of that bar, so it does not move at all. All right, so it's a really, really secure lockup. I just think it's really cool. This particular one is extremely well done. All right, it's a little step-up pattern. It's very comfortable to use, very secure, you know, snap. I absolutely love it. I think it stinks that this one happens to be a little uncomfortable. You know, I'd have to actually use it to see if that would be an issue long term, or if it was really, really rubbing, or who knows, maybe just in lightly holding it here, it's uncomfortable, but you never really know. You don't know until you start using your knives. That's the point I make for a lot of different things, is there's so many knives that are super cool, and you get them in hand, you're like, especially if you're at a store, you know, if you happen to have the opportunity to go to a knife store and you know, grab different knives and you try them out, and you're like, wow, that's awesome. You know, some knives are really awesome, and then you start using them and not so much. That's usually the case. I would say it'd be rare if you go, wow, that's uncomfortable, and then you start using it and it feels better. So my assumption is that it would be uncomfortable with use, but who knows? Long story short, I really, really love the overall design of it, and I really, really like this. It's just such a cool concept. It's not the first, Real Steel is not the first company to do this, but I think it was very well done here. But yeah, pretty cool little flipper. The all stainless steel does feel slippery. I'm already feeling that. I'm not sweating or anything, but it's just very slick and smooth. But not necessarily in a good way. For light use, I think it would be totally fine though. And this one, I never had this one either. This is the Tangram. I love the full flat ground blade. I actually really like that blade profile. Slight clip point. Very cool looking. All right, little G10 handle. Right off the bat, in this one, I feel that deep carry clip. When companies do this and they have the, you know, the fold over clip, yeah, it's really cool because it allows that completely deep carry, but you end up getting a lump on the end, okay? Same with this aftermarket one. I haven't used this particular one, and because it's larger, I don't think it'd be an issue. I mean, initially, it doesn't feel like it's gonna be, but obviously this one's already traded off, so I won't have the opportunity to try that. You know, in this particular design, you see the wire clip. It's nothing. I don't even feel it. Seriously. But fortunately, this has a deep conceal clip as well. All right, and holding this, I'm not having an issue with the clip just because of how it's protruding out. But again, that lock bar, it's definitely uncomfortable. Anyway, it's just one of those things. When you have these knives for light duty use, it really isn't a big deal. When I talk about, you know, hot spots and this is uncomfortable, that's uncomfortable, I'm talking about like really squeezing hard because you're using it, you're cutting into things. I mean, for me, I do a lot of cardboard cutting for testing, but there's all different types of mediums that you could be cutting. But the issue is that when you're lightly holding the knife, you may not feel it at all. But once you start cutting stuff and you want more of a grip, you squeeze down. And when you squeeze down is when you really start feeling hot spots on knives, all right? And when you have something that's rubbing over and over from the pressure of actually cutting things, that's when you get blisters. That's when you get sore spots, all right? So that's why I say so many knives feel awesome until you start using them. But when I say using, I mean like, you know, really using them. Most knives, you could pick up pretty much any knife out there and just cut one or two things with it and it'll be fine. Even if it's a little uncomfortable, it'll be totally fine. It'll work. But when I talk about these things and I critique knives, it's for people who want to use them every day over and over and over again. All right, like this knife, it's a beautiful knife. I think it's very cool. I love the features. I love the way it looks. But if I were to use this every day over and over again, I'm just assuming that this is going to be really irritating. And it's not going to want me, or I'm not going to want to use this knife. It's going to make me not like the knife, you know? But again, these are just first impressions, so you don't really know until you actually start using them. Anyway, I'm very long-winded, aren't I? The point of the video was to just show another trade, show my appreciation. I really appreciate it, Philip. Thank you so much again. I did want to just mention, again, the weird thing that happens occasionally where a knife is traded off before I even get it. It just happens sometimes. So anyway, that's it. Let me know if that's ever happened to you. Anyway, I just want to touch upon the strange occurrence that I trade things off before I even own them. But it is important to note here when you're trading with people that they know exactly what they're getting. So obviously in this case, the second I opened this, I sent pictures to the person so they knew exactly what to expect, especially when knives are used or anything's used. You want to show its exact condition. Nothing is better than a couple really close pictures. You know, if there's a little scratch here, scratch there, it might not mean anything to you, but the person receives it, it might be a total surprise to them and upsets them. You know, you want both parties to be very happy. That's what creates successful trades. But anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.